Ladies and gentlemen, SuckItUpUSA.com presents Suck It Up MMA Live. No excuses, no quit. With your hosts, positioned firmly in front of the control board, and out of the red corner, Tom McManus! Across the desk, and out of the blue corner, Larry the Professor Sheely!
We welcome our guest, and her name is Victoria Hudson Trueb, who is a Muay Thai fighter. That's pretty impressive, man. Good-looking girl that likes to Muay Thai fight. That's a scary thing.
And jiu-jitsu, a world champion and Pan Am champion jiu-jitsu player.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go home and teach my girls everything about kicking ass.
I tell you what.
Just in case.
Tell you what, someone like Victoria could teach us all a lesson. I think it's awesome to see folks, not only the men, but also I'm interested in getting Victoria's slant on getting hit in the face the way we always talking about.
No, right, exactly.
And with the jiu-jitsu, I've seen her in jiu-jitsu tournaments just dominate. So it's pretty cool.
All right, let's see if this is Victoria, our guest today. We'll get her hooked up on the Suck It Up radio network in just a second. Hang on there, Victoria. Got to move some things around. That's all right. We are good to go here, and we'll welcome her in. Victoria, are you there?
Yes, how are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to being on the show. Man, you sound either Midwest or out on the East Coast. Where are you from, Victoria?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised.
Okay, how you doing? I'm from Chicago. We hear that a lot up there, but nonetheless, great to have you on board. I want to thank the Professor Larry Sheely for setting this up and being a part of our MMA live show during the week here on the Suck It Up Radio Network, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so talk about your story there, Victoria. How'd you get into, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I know you fight Muay Thai as well. Talk about your journey to where you're at today.
Well, really, I started the way a lot of people start. They just don't want to admit it. I started in Taekwondo.
Okay.
And I did that for years. And all the guys, talk about, MMA is so much better in Taekwondo. Okay, well, I started in Taekwondo, so I give a lot of my credit to that and all my martial arts. Started there, did that for a long time, and then kind of just wanted to move on to something a little different. I started doing no-gi jiu-jitsu, a little grappling, and then I started working a little bit of striking, a little bit of boxing, and that was when I was in Savannah. I lived there while I was in college. And then I moved back up to Atlanta and found Professor Travin and just started doing jiu-jitsu, training at Unit 2 Fitness here in Atlanta, and kind of just went from there. So,
how'd you overcome getting hit in the face? And I mean, seriously, I always talk, when we talk to these fighters, I went growing up in Chicago and then going to school in Boston. I was always been, involved with football, but hanging out with hockey players. And I've always said, people that don't care, it doesn't bother them that they get hit in the face. Those are dangerous people to deal with because they're used to it. I know in MMA, I know in Muay Thai, I know in boxing and martial arts in general. I mean, you're always getting hit. Yes, you're delivering punches, but you got to learn how to take those shots. How does a girl like you, how does any female get used to the brutality of getting in that ring and competing like that?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to lay it out for you. Any female, I don't care who she is, if she says she likes getting punched in the face, she is lying to you. It sucks. You don't get over it. I'm dead serious. I don't like getting punched in the face. It's terrible.
Okay.
And, it's just one of those things when you're in the ring, like when I fought Ty, you feel it when you practice, when you're sparring in the boxing ring. Of course you feel it. It sucks. It hurts. You get hit in the nose. It makes you tear up. You never get used to it. But when you step in the ring, it's completely different. Like, I don't even remember. I know I got hit plenty of times, but I don't really remember it. I don't remember it hurting while I was in the ring because of the adrenaline. But as far as getting used to being hit in the face, to me, I never got used to it. And I don't know. It's not fun getting hit in the face. You try not to. That's the point to me.
Right.
You try not to get hit in the face, but I'm going to hit you in the face.
Well, you're very inspiring to me. I'm a father of 3 young girls, and although I've taught them how to punch, I haven't taught them much more than that. So you're definitely inspiring to a father of 3 girls who, look, there's always that that balance of being able to handle yourself, being able to compete, being ladylike and all of that. I mean, that goes hand in hand, and obviously you've got it down, but what would be your advice to a guy like me that, wants to they're in a dance, that's their whole deal, jazz, tap, ballet, and all that, but that may want them to get crossed over into mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, or what have you?
Right, and I'm going to say right now that my dad was not a fan of me getting hit in the face. He was not. No father likes to see their little girl get hit, and I think they're a lot more comfortable that I do a lot more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm not going to lie. I bought them all tickets to one of my fights. I had them sit front row. They were not impressed. Like my dad was, I could tell afterwards, he was like, I knew you were going to win. He was like, because you would never do something all out like this unless you felt like you were prepared. He's like, I knew you were going to win, and you did, but I do not like seeing this happen.
That's
I don't like seeing anybody punching my daughter. And that's really the thing, is you have to be really prepared in this. And if it's something they really want to do, and he does support me, bless his heart. He supports everything I've ever done, every sport I've ever done, because I always put my all into it. And so he knows I'm never going to step into the ring or step in onto the jiu-jitsu mat unless I'm prepared to go against somebody else. And that's really the thing. If they're willing to put the work and the determination into it, then you just have to watch them succeed, and they will.
Totally agree.
Bless his heart, he's been so supportive.
That's awesome, Victoria. This is Larry. Yeah, we just Tom mentioned before the show, my son was up here playing his guitar, and he was in jiu-jitsu at one point, but I think we let our kids pick their path and then support them wherever they are. So I understand your dad, where he, I'm glad my daughter doesn't do that. But again, my son plays the guitar as good as anyone, so I understand where you're coming from. One other thing I wanted to throw out here is you and your fiance are both fitness trainers, right? Personal trainers. Yeah. He fights MMA. Mm-hmm. He does jiu-jitsu, and you do the same with the exception of MMA right now. Rumor has it, though, that only 2 people up at your gym are world champions and Pan Am champions, and you're one of them. Okay? Yeah. True, right? And the other one is who?
One more time?
And who is the other one?
Professor Travin.
Professor Travin, that's right. So, what's your boyfriend been doing? Is he trained hard, or what's the deal?
Yeah, dude, he trains so hard.
I know he does.
My goodness, he trains harder than any person I know.
Yes, he does.
The guy's, man, his weight division, he's a brown belt now, and he is in a very, very tough division. He competes all the time. He's won the Miami Open, Vegas Open, all sorts of. He's, I think, second or third place at Pans and Worlds, and he's gotten on the podium, I think, every single competition, and he kills it.
He does.
He's a stud.
He does. I was just messing with Sunshine a little bit. Great guy, great couple. Think of it. You can go to work. You train with your wife to be. Mm-hmm. You can train jiu-jitsu. Now, how does it feel punching Jeff in the face? That's got to feel great.
No, okay, so we never really sparred boxing. I do mostly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. That's pretty much what I'm focusing on.
Okay.
When we did step in the ring, he never threw a punch, and he did that on purpose. Mm-hmm. Because he knew that we would probably get into a little bit. So, of course, he let me try and punch him. Never really happened.
Right.
But we do roll together on the mats, and it turns into a little bit of a competition. He's better than me. He's bigger than me, stronger than me. I know that.
Yeah.
But still, when you're really competitive, and he's very competitive, we don't really roll together all too often, I think, for that reason. But he does help me out a lot, does a lot of technique with me, stuff like that. And it's actually really great having him around, because we're able to, help each other diet, help each other train, do this, don't do that. We help each other, make each other rest. Because if it weren't for him, I don't think I'd ever rest. I just keep going and keep going. So it's really nice having somebody that knows exactly what you're going through,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great.
Talk about your nutritional side of things, Victoria. We're very cognizant of our nutrition in the house. My wife and I both, as far everything in moderation, obviously, but as a fitness instructor, as someone that competes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, talk about nutrition, your diet, and the importance of those things.
Right. Depending upon what your goals are. My goals are always performance. I'm at a pretty good weight right now, and for Jiu-Jitsu, I don't cut any weight. I don't have to lose any.
Okay.
I'm right in the middle. So really, I eat for performance. And so that means I don't cut carbs. Obviously I try not to take in a lot of fat at all. I'm pretty strict about what I eat, 5.5, 6 days a week. On Sundays, I usually, Jeff and I will go and just kind of, enjoy life.
Yeah, pig out a little, sure.
A little,
Yeah, yeah.
But we really eat for performance. Try and eat like 5 meals a day, 4 or 5 meals a day of good protein, good carbohydrates. Try to watch our sugar intake and fat intake.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the diet that I follow. It's not really, I don't really even consider it a diet. It's just the way I eat.
Yeah, it's your the way you live.
Right, exactly. Yeah. There are some times when, if I want to drop to a lower weight class and I have to cut weight, I still try not to cut carbs. And I think that's a lot of fighters and a lot of people in jiu-jitsu cut carbs, and you feel terrible when you don't eat carbohydrates. You feel terrible. You train terribly. You just feel like you have no strength. And so really that's more of a calorie counting game to me.
Yeah.
I just count calories, and that aids me in being able to lose a couple pounds here and there.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you try not to eat fats. Is that all type of fat, or, I always hear there's good fat, there's bad fat, like avocado is supposed to, it's got some good fat in it, things like that. But when you talk about cutting the fat out of your diet, can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, you're right. I'll eat some avocados here and there, so like that, or salmon has the omegas.
Omega-3,
like
right?
But
yep.
Stuff like in the morning, I have to have coffee with cream. I always have fat-free creamer, or I always have something fat-free, sour cream, fat-free, cheese, fat-free. Anything that still tastes good that I can cut the fat out of, that's what I eat. But yeah, you're right. Like I still cook with olive oil and all that stuff, but you just got to cut out, the dairy fats. That's a huge contributor to people holding on to weight.
The dairy fat,
weight.
okay.
So yeah, I still, I'm all right with the good fats, avocado, fish, certain kinds of fish, stuff like that.
Sure.
Victoria, this is Larry again. In terms of switching your diet, or did you have to switch your diet as you got into the Muay Thai and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Did you carry that type of thinking while you were doing Taekwondo and other things? Or did
No, I didn't. This was something because getting ready for Pan Ams and for Worlds, I'm training at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And eating the way that I did, 5 or 6 years ago, I felt miserable. And then finally, just talking through, like, Travin's wife does nutrition, talking to her, and talking to a couple other people, kind of put all of this together and started drinking a gallon of water a day and eating 5 meals a day to have energy to be able to work out as much as I wanted to.
Sure.
But I never could have done this 4 or 5 years ago. Never would have been able to do it on what I was eating then.
We take a supplement called Juice Plus. It's just all whole foods, natural, organic fruits, vegetables, and grapes and things like that grow on the vine. But talk about your fruit and vegetable intake. It's amazing, our society. It's like we've forgotten about these things that come from the earth that were created for us to eat. But how about in your training? How important are fruits and vegetables and those types of things in the diet?
They're very important. I keep telling Jeff we should probably buy stock in Chiquita or something, because we go through bananas.
Yeah.
Like you would not believe. Like that's my favorite fruit. A lot of graves and a ton of bananas that give you so much energy. And I like vegetables, so I'm really not even aware. A lot of people have to force feed themselves vegetables if they,
right.
Because they're good for you. But I like them. So it's just kind of something I eat.
Yeah.
I'm not even really cognizant of me eating vegetables. I do it normally. But I think it's very important, especially if you are, because there's so many vitamins and minerals and nutrients in vegetables you don't get from eating a piece of bread or, chicken. So it's very important just to overall health, I feel like.
You know what I just read, too? Bananas. I never like when they're at all green at all, right? You like when they're nice and soft and mushy, but that's when it turns into more sugar, I just read. You want it to be a little bit of a green peel. Have you ever heard that? I just read that in I think it was online. I can't remember exactly where, but that was interesting to me that eventually those bananas that get really ripe, they end up having more sugar in them if they weren't as ripe. Have you ever heard that before?
No, I have not, but I don't like when the bananas are soft. I like them right when they're just ripe enough. And
Okay.
They're still hard. That's the way I like them anyway. So, but that does make more sense. They're a little too sweet when they get real mushy like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
that's a good
exactly.
point. Yeah, I never heard that.
That makes sense, though, I guess. Now you think about it. Yeah, when they get to that point. Victoria Hudson Trueb is our guest here on MMA Live on the Suck It Up Radio Network at suckitupusa.com. All right, I talked about getting hit in the face. Talk about Muay Thai getting hit in the legs and the thighs, getting used to that. And that's something I've never trained in. I mean, I use Taekwondo for football. Larry's shown me a little Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I recently got into boxing, but getting whacked in the thigh. I mean, my brothers used to beat the crap out of me with Charlie horses growing up, but talk about that, you getting your legs conditioned to not only take those kicks, but also to deliver those kicks in Muay Thai.
Right, and that takes years and years and years
Oh,
of
jeez.
kicking and being kicked to really condition yourself to that. And in both my fights, I wore shin guards, so it's not that bad. You still get big goose eggs on your shin and on your legs, but that's a lot better than taking a bare, shin kick to your leg. So I know, like I said, when you get in the ring, you don't feel it as much, when you're actually in the fight, but afterwards, you feel like you can't walk. It's terrible.
Yeah, I bet. Gosh,
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, I think for demonstration, I've got a bat here, baseball bat. I'm going to hit Tom in the leg.
Don't do it. Please do it. You can do it. You can hit me in the chest. Don't hit me in the legs, please. Please. Victoria, how do you talk about some of the female MMA fighters out there? Who do you like out there? I know that, or was very popular. I'm sure she still is. Gina Carano. I know she got taken down by, what's the girl's name? The real tough Brazilian girl that beat up Gina Carano. Who am I thinking?
Cyborg.
Yeah,
right.
she looks like a cyborg, right? But she's a cyborg. Her last name. Talk about who do you like in the fight game today on the female side?
I think Larry would agree. 5 or 6 years ago, there was only a handful of females
Right.
that
Right.
anybody even fought professional MMA, and there's so many now. Like, there's a new name every day that's up and coming, and I can't even wrap my head around all the new females that are out there fighting on Strike Force and fighting on all these big promotions. There's so many out there. Ronda Rousey's huge right now. She's the judo. She's the one, I think she got the silver or the bronze medal at the Olympics in judo, and she's fun to watch. And I don't have a particular favorite. I like watching them all because there's so many good females now. 5 years ago, they would get in there and just brawl, and it was really weird to watch, and it didn't really look like a girl fight, like a chick fight, And now it's more
Which I always
organized,
liked.
and they get good coaching, and it's fun. It's just like watching the guys fight. And it's great to watch them. I don't really have a particular favorite. I just enjoy watching the girls when they get in the cage.
Yeah.
So.
Victoria, again, Larry, what you said about the ladies keeping up with them, it's also the same with the men with all the, adding weight classes, all the different venues. I'm sitting here on a weekly basis trying to figure out who's who. Now, we have the kind of the cream of the crop, but there's so many up-and-comers coming from all the various organizations across the country. So it's only with the ladies, it's the same thing, getting to see them fight. And, it's just they're not on as many cards where we can actually see them.
Right.
Does that make sense? You agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely do. Because every time, it's so funny, you read through a fight card, you're like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? So, there's just so many. I don't know. There has to be, thousands upon thousands.
Yeah, no question. It's a growing sport, and the good news is we're on the front end of it and having fun doing it. Now, let me ask you this. You've got something, got some jiu-jitsu tournament coming up in Atlanta. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you care to share that with us, please?
Yeah, it's the Luchador grappling tournament. It's twice a year. There's one in the springtime, which is the gi only, and then there's one in the summer, fall time, which is no gi. And these are huge tournaments for Team Humberto Traveling because we like to come out in force because there's a couple big teams in Atlanta. Alliance headquarters is in Atlanta. Travin's headquarters are in Atlanta. There's some big Gracie Baja teams in the area. So it's a really good tournament. They go by the national, like the IBJJF, which is the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, go by their rules. So it's like it's a smaller setting, but it's just like competing in one of the bigger tournaments. Same rules, same regulations. You have to wear the same gi. But it's supposed to. I hope there's a really good turnout. There's always been a huge turnout every single year. But that's March 3rd here in Atlanta. So I'm really excited about it.
I was actually at that one last year. God, what a well-run tournament.
Right, absolutely.
You mentioned IBJJF, and any tournament that I've been to, the PANs, the World Championships, anything run by that organization is top-notch. You don't have your fighters waiting all day. They're on, they're off, and the refereeing is just professional as heck. So I know Armand Barros was in charge of the referees last year, did a great job. So interesting to see how the turnout is, because Herberto Travin's TRT won last year, right?
Yeah, 2 times in a row we've won, and we plan on doing it again.
There you go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Hey, Victoria, Larry and I are very into anti-bullying here on the First Coast of Florida. We go into schools and talk to the kids, and that's a passion of ours. And whether it's bullying, whether it's abuse, we know the stats on women, on young girls with the abuse. Can you talk about the importance of getting your child into some, boy or girl, getting into something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or just martial arts, or just a self-defense class to know how to get away? Obviously, we know when you take these classes, you get tremendous confidence, and those perpetrators that go after those young kids, they don't normally go after the strong, very confident ones. They go after the weak ones. Talk about that a little bit, and the importance of getting our youngsters involved. I know Larry's got a great kids jiu-jitsu program, as do a lot of schools out there, but from your perspective, talk about that for self-defense and helping these young kids out.
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic idea for all kids. I mean, when I have kids, when that happens, they're going to be in Taekwondo or Karate. They're going to do that as soon as they're old enough. And I'm going to tell you just from witnessing it firsthand, I used to teach 4-year-olds Taekwondo, okay? And it is amazing the transformation that they'll come in, they're so shy, and they don't want to talk. But 6 weeks or even a year goes by, and how these kids transform from being shy and meek to just, they stand up for themselves, they're outgoing, and I think that's a huge factor when it comes to being bullied, being able to stand up for yourself and being assertive. So it's amazing what kids go through just from being involved in a martial arts program like that. Like, I think people don't realize how important it is, but they go into these programs, they learn discipline, they learn respect, they learn how to say no, and they learn how to, if somebody's coming towards you, you don't know who they are, how to, go and tell an adult. It's things like that, but I believe it's crucial.
Yeah.
And it really does help. So
absolutely. And to those parents out there that, you hear, well, I don't want them to get hurt. Listen, it's not about fighting. It's just learning about an art to get that discipline, to get that confidence, and then if they need it, I mean, wouldn't we all, at the end of the day, want our children to know how to at least get away from an attack one way or the other? And to me, parents got to suck it up and get the kids in there and at least go, and check it out and give it a look-see before, you automatically have this, this perceived notion that, oh, no, it's going to be too rough. They can't be little girls anymore. And trust me, I'm all for it, no doubt about it, but talk about that, to the parents and say, hey, you got to at least give it a shot because it will do wonders for your kids, like you said.
Yeah, it will, and I think another important thing is that it will teach them how to defend themselves, but at the same time, I know Larry would agree with this, it teaches them when not to use
self-control.
techniques.
Self-control.
Because a lot of parents come in, they're like, just teach my kid how to fight, whatever. No, because there's so many life skills involved when you teach kids, the martial arts, that you teach them when not to use it. And I think that's just as big of a part as teaching them how to use it. And so I think that's an important point. But going back to what you were saying, there is nothing, I think parents, if they were able to get in the door and take their kids to a class and see what they would do, I think that would really change their perspective. I think if they were able to see their little girl go in and do a karate class or a jiu-jitsu class and see that it's not about them becoming bruisers,
Not at all.
and it's about them just learning a lot of life skills, a lot of just self-defense techniques that I think are very just vital. So.
Victoria, you mentioned teaching 4-year-olds. Now, this is something that surprised me when I started teaching kids of that age, is the focus they can get. First, when they first come in, it's like herding cats. But after a few classes, didn't you notice that the focus that they started getting is just unbelievable? Did you?
Absolutely,
Yes.
I agree. Like, just they won't. You can't even get them to pay attention for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden they're going for 30 minutes, and they're energized, they're pumped up. Yes, ma'am. No, yes, sir. And you keep their focus. It's really great, the transformation they go through.
And when the parents see that, then the parents are hooked. And nobody can lose, I don't think, when a child is put in a martial arts program, be it taekwondo, karate, whatever. It's a win for everybody.
Agreed.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Victoria. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to black belt in Taekwondo, Muay Thai fighter, and an accomplished Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grad. Man, I wouldn't want to mess with you. And plus, your fiance could give us a run for our money, too.
I really appreciate it.
He's a bad dude. Well, do me a favor, Victoria. When you get a chance, I didn't tell you how to actually be able to hit Jeff. You got to wait till he's not looking and just punch him right in the throat. I mean, that's now I won't.
Get the beard.
I'm afraid of him, so you have to do it for
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, if you want to check out Victoria and all the great instructors, unit2fitness.com. That's unit, the number 2, fitness.com up there in the Atlanta area. And I think we're making a trip up for that, April 21st fight?
Right, we are.
So maybe we can stop by Instructor Trav, Master Travin's
that would be great.
School and say hello to everybody. That would be
Yes,
fantastic.
that'd be great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on MMA Live. Best of luck, and thanks for taking us inside from your perspective and all that you do. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great day. Now, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks, Victoria.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Awesome
All right,
stuff,
you too.
man.
Bye.
That's cool. Man, she'll whoop some ass,
Yeah,
that girl. All
she's
right. I
on-
like that.
I've seen her fight. Actually, I saw her at the last year's Luchador. And it was unbelievable.
Is she
Just
tall? She looks tall.
She's pretty tall.
Is she like 5'10"?
I would guess
6
yeah,
feet?
I would guess
Yeah.
5'10". I guess.
Okay. Yeah, she looks pretty tall, looks lean,
Yeah.
and mean.
Well,
lean and mean.
Just a great competitor.
Yeah,
Great competitor.
absolutely.
And I was busting her fiance's chops.
Yeah, I saw his bio. He looks
he's tough.
He looks tough.
He's scary, man. He's
I
just
bet
one of
he
those
is.
guys. You know how some people just know.
They got to look.
He's one of those guys
Yeah,
you know.
that's fantastic.
and I'm glad I know him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Look, and I'm sure he's not a bully.
Not at all.
He just walks confident, and that's a great thing. And I'm telling you, parents, and Victoria's so dead on. Larry and I talk about it all the time. Get your kids into something like that. Martial arts, boxing, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, judo, whatever. Give them that confidence. It'll do wonders for them. Just like Victoria was just saying, 4-year-old girls come in, they're a little shy, they're timid. Next thing you know, they're feeling strong, they're feeling confident, and it does wonders. I mean, look, I think you can breed that in your own home.
Oh, yes.
Like my girls walk tall, they walk proud, and I have taught them how to punch because I think it's important. And yes, I make them throw with both hands. They can throw great rights. I always tell them, now, let me see your left, and I teach them what I've been taught, throughout the years. But I think it's so important for these young kids, especially the young girls. You always say it, Larry, if you can only afford one and you got a boy and a girl, let the girl go first.
Always the girl.
Absolutely.
Always the girl.
Good
Guys are going to be
stuff.
all right. And I like the way you look at it. The child may be a little shy, may be timid. I'd rather them show that to us in the school and let us bridge that gap rather than them get it at school.
Yeah.
Okay? And
Yeah.
I do scholarships. I mean, it's not all about the money. It's about kids, kids being kids and allowing them to be kids. And it's hard to live your life being bullied. I mentioned this to you before. I was bullied in the 8th grade. Until I told my dad, and he's like, well, deal with it. And when I did, it stopped.
Yeah.
It stopped. But,
Yeah. Well, and again, I think, from our perspective, it's gone are the days of, all right, let's beat up the bully. Let's be proactive, make our kids confident so that bully's afraid to go after, because they won't go after him. They only go
Yeah, they're
after
cowards.
the weak.
They're cowards.
They are cowards.
Yep.
They're wimps.
Yep.
I say that to the kids all the time. I would say, do you think I was ever bullied? No. Why? Well, because I was a confident kid. How did I get that way? Well, through my upbringing. Obviously. My dad wanted us tough. He made us tough. We played sports. If I didn't have sports, my martial art was sports. For in retrospect.
Right.
I had the baseball, the basketball, the football. You competed hard. You played hard. What did that do? It gave you confidence outside of the basketball court or the baseball diamond or the football field.
Right.
So let's be proactive and get these. And another thing, it'll be great for fitness. There's too many heavy kids. And you know what? Running's boring. I mean, I don't even like it.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, it is. You can't just say, oh, well, go for a run. Some kids will take to that, and that's great, but some don't. Get them in something that's productive. Get them in something that's proactive. Get them in something that's preventative as well.
And it's fun. And it's fun for them. That's the key. You got to keep it
so
fun.
So much fun.
It's not boot camp, but it's the kids come in. I always tell the parents, okay, they're gonna. All we're doing is supporting what you're doing in the house.
Right.
Discipline. They're gonna show respect.
Absolutely.
They're going to show focus.
Right.
They're going to listen to rules.
And you know what, parents out there, all you have to do is say, wait till I tell Professor Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till I tell him you were acting up at home, or Instructor Travin or Master Travin. Wait till I tell him, because I'm going to tell him when we go to class next time that you were acting up in school. And guess what? They'll be sitting there going, no, don't tell him.
Exactly.
Don't tell him.
Exactly.
Please don't.
It's funny, but you're so right.
It works.
You're
it
so
definitely
right.
works. So, hey, we're all about helping people out there. And again, it's not about how many asses you can kick. That's not what this is about. It's just about getting these kids confident and making sure that they're okay, because we can't be with them 24/7. I talked on my radio show last week. There's a guy out there that's trying to get in all these schools. He's 28 years old. He's been caught videotaping kids, looking at kids and this and that. Well, guess what? What if somebody like that approaches your kid and you're not there? Don't you want them to know that they can get out of it somehow, at least have a chance?
Have a plan in place.
Yes.
Got to have a plan in place. And and how they carry themselves is everything.
Big. Hey,
did they ever catch that guy?
No.
No?
I'm still on the lookout. I do, man. It's a white sedan, Nissan sedan. If I catch that son of a bitch, he's dead. He better hope the cops get him before I get him. I mean, look, I'll just make a citizen's arrest, that's all. I'll hold him in place until the cops come.
Yeah.
Now what I do in between, who knows? He might trip. He might fall and smash his face on the ground. I don't know. He might have his, arm broken from tripping. It's not my fault.
There's some nasty. You can trip and hurt yourself real bad.
You really can, Larry.
Yes.
You truly. You know what? In all seriousness, but again, we got to protect these kids. That's part of Suck It Up. It's for the future of our children. Make them strong. Make them strong. Be proactive and give them a chance to live a disciplined and a confident life. It works, man. It works.
Absolutely.
Even as simple as breaking a board. I was 19 when I started Taekwondo. I can remember breaking a board and thinking, holy cow, that was unbelievable. Then you start doing spinning back kicks and breaking boards. And you're like, man, it does. It gives you that confidence. You just walk out and you're like, man, I feel great. I feel great. It gives you that confidence, and it does. What do I say all the time, Professor? We are creatures of habit. So let's teach him good habits. Let's give him a chance to live it their way.
Todd, get the bat. I want to get him in the habit of taking him on the shins.
Yeah,
okay?
would you please? Smash me. Kick me in the jimmy. Let's go. What the heck, right? No, I'm kidding. I am kidding. All right, well, hopefully Todd's going to get back on his guitar and crank out some tunage. Can he play Back in Black? I'm sure he can. Yeah. Get it cranking up there, Todd. There you go. All right, that's going to do it for us here on MMA Live. Want to thank Victoria Hudson Trueb for being our guest today. That's inspiring, no doubt about it.
Yes, and I'd like to apologize to Jeff Boudreau for cracking on him. So it was all in fun, buddy.
Yeah, and by the way, Jeff, it was all Larry. He did it all. I don't even know you, bro. So don't look at me. Don't look at me. All right, all in good fun. Thanks, though.
Great job.
And unit2fitness.com.
Funny,
dudes. I'd see some Facebook friends or friends of Unit 2 Fitness. So even down here, it travels.
It does.
All throughout. We're traveling. Suck it up. It's a way of life. Living life to the fullest with no excuses and no quit. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time on MMA Live. Don't forget, tonight at 7 o'clock right here on the Suck It Up Radio Network, it's Race Night with Tony Monica from 7 to 9. Hug the ones you love. Tell them you love them. We'll see you next time on the Suck It Up Radio Network.
This has been a production of SuckItUpUSA.com and EIGProductions.com. Heard exclusively on the Suck It Up Radio Network.